Pocket, come. Yes. That's a good girl. That's a good girl. Pocket, come. Good girl. Very good. Good girl. Good girl. Down. Yes. Excellent. All right. Today what we're going to do is we're going to introduce Pocket to what we call a slip lead. And just as a safety precaution, I always like to start out with, when you have a leash like this, you only want to have it on while you're training the dog. Because this actually becomes very tight up around the neck and it's very secure, we would never want to leave this on after a training for fear that the dog could become strangled or get caught up on something with this. So it's really important when you're done, you'd go ahead and loosen it up, take it off the dog, and that way you keep everything nice and safe. So what we're going to do today is we're going to ask her to come to the leash. So as I bring the treat here, I simply first want to work her with a piece of food, and I can get her to come to the leash with a piece of food. So that's one way of maneuvering, keeping a dog from wanting to go to something else like other dogs on the side of the street here or in the park. This will keep her focused and intact. So I'll use her nose again. Good girl. Here. So she's using that nose. Interesting. Good girl. Let's go. Let's go. Good girl. So again, I just diverted her attention because that was a big distraction. And now what we're going to do with this is we want to create and we want to break what we have something dogs have called opposition reflex. And what that means is if I pull, they kind of stick their feet in the ground and they hold pretty steady. So that's something we want to teach her to give to the leash, not resist the leash. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to set this up so that we pull in a straight line. And as she gives to the leash at all, we release the pressure. So I'm going to pull in a straight line right here like this. And as she gives to the line, then I take all the pressure off the line. If I want her to back up, I'm going to pull in a straight line back. Moment, yes. She gives to the leash, she starts backing up. I give to that pressure. Yes. Good girl. So right now, before we warm her up with this, I just want her to start responding to my voice. I get low, yes, and I'm going to reward her for doing that. So she's starting to see that every time she comes to me, good things are going to start to happen for her. Yes. And I mark and reward her coming to me. Come. Yes. Good girl. That's beautiful. Heel up. Heel. Heel. Right here. Right here. Good. Good girl. Good girl. Yes. Very good. See? See the pop-up? See the pop-up? See the pop-up? Good. Yes. Good girl. Here we're rewarding the fact that she's smelling this little dog. She's using her nose, but she's not getting excited about it. Comes a little kid on a scooter. Again, I'm just going to keep her from getting too close. She can use her nose. Create a little bit of resistance. Yes. Good girl. Good girl. Good girl. So now what we're going to do, she's starting to understand that she has to come to the leash or the pressure of the leash. Now I'm going to go ahead and keep it tight, and I'm going to move her around. And as she gives to the pressure, then I'll release all the tension on the line. Good girl. Good girl. Good girl, Pocket. Good girl. Pocket, come. Good. Let's go. Let's go. Good girl, Pocket. Good girl. So she's still using her nose, which is fine, but we're still asking her just to come with us. As I ask her to come, and she comes, no tension on the line, really important. If I want her to turn, I'll use my body, and as she comes to the line, again, no tension on the line. Let's go. Now, what I'll do, which is really important, is I'm also going to use my verbal communication with her, because we've already got a system down that she understands that I may ask her to come with me prior to giving any pressure on the line. So if she first conforms to that verbal communication, then I'll put zero tension on the line, because she's also following along with my voice, which is ultimately what we really want her to be focused on, is the use of my voice. I'll lower my body too to make myself a little bit more enticing to her. Pocket, come. Come. Good girl. Good girl. And then I'll reinforce that with the word good, which means keep doing what you're doing. You're doing fantastic. Now you'll notice I haven't reinforced with food too much yet, but every once in a while, if the distractions become high or I need to lure her a little bit, I'm going to reinforce staying with me by simply giving her a treat. So it's sort of like being in Vegas. I'm giving her a random reinforcement. She doesn't know exactly when it's coming, but she's more likely to stay with me because she doesn't know when it's going to come. Good girl. Good girl. Timing is really important. We want to catch her as she begins to lower the head or go after the birds right here. As you can see, she's stiffening a little bit. She's interested in the birds. The kids are right there. So we're just going to keep her moving in the right direction. What I'll also do is I'll keep her pretty close to me. Good girl. Good girl. Good girl. It's a good girl. If I'm far away out here, then she can get further away from me. If I keep the line and my body pretty close to her, I have a lot more control over her. And again, a little kid, if it's something that could scare her, I'm going to just be relaxed, allow her to absorb it by looking at it, smelling it, and then we just keep moving forward. So she starts to see that little kids aren't going to hurt her. That there's just other things in the park, but it's important to allow her to be able to look at those things, use her nose. Now you'll notice we have a pretty good rhythm going right now. Very, very little correction needed. She's starting to really get a feel for how this leash works. Now, if I need her to go to the right and she resists a little bit, again, I give her a little bit of a correction. So here, as I make the turn, pocket. I'm going to kind of let her know that I'm going to make that turn, and then the likelihood that she'll come with me is a lot better. And she'll get to a point where she actually starts to read my body language, and she moves more with me because she'll start to predict when I'm going to make those turns. And if she doesn't, then again, I'm going to help her, back the train up a little bit, and help her by lowering my body and making myself a little bit more exciting. Good girl. Good girl. You're such a good girl. So just to sort of revisit what we just did, we want to make sure that whenever we use this particular tool, we take it off at the end of a training to prevent any strangulation or safety issues that might occur. Whenever we're putting it on, we make sure that we have a treat going on and off. We want to make sure that in order to break her of that natural opposition reflex, we pull in a straight parallel line, whether it's forward or backwards or to the side. And the moment she gives to the line, we release all the tension on the line. All right, until next time, remember, get out there and practice, and you and your dog will have a great relationship together. Good girl. Good girl. Good girl.